And Jesus said to them, "So you see how it is written that the Christ would suffer and on the third day rise from the dead, and that in his name repentance for the forgiveness of sins would be preached to all the nations beginning from Jerusalem. You are witnesses to this. And now I am sending down to you what the Father has promised. Stay in the city then, until you are clothed with the power from on high." Then he took them out as far as the outskirts of Bethany, and lifting up his hands he blessed them. Now as he blessed them, he withdrew from them and was carried up to heaven. They worshipped him, and then went back to Jerusalem full of joy. And they were continually in the temple praising God. Here's Jesus leaving his disciples for the last time. He's ascending to his Father, to our God, to his God. And you'd think maybe they might be absolutely devastated by this and fall to bits. But actually they didn't. Somehow that talk he gave them at the end, and the blessing he imparted to them, and the promise he made to them that they would receive power from on high, and that he would stay with them, was enough to actually get right into their beings and keep them on task, focused, joyous and happy. Jesus must have been a most amazing person. I mean, we all know he was God and man, so yes, he was amazing. But the apostles probably didn't realise that at the time. And what they saw was this man who'd been through all this and yet could still inspire them to be the missionaries that he wanted them to be. He wanted them to preach forgiveness to all the nations. And when we look round now and see where the church is in the world, indeed, the Christian church is in the most far-flung places in the world. And when we see the response of people today to things like the election of Pope Francis, and I'm not just saying Catholics' response, I'm saying non-Christians' response as well as other Christian denominations. Everyone talks about him as our Pope. This is what Jesus wanted. He wanted harmony. He wanted forgiveness of sins. He wanted people to be at home with one another and with their God. And surely this is our task, to wait for this coming from on high during the next week until Pentecost. I'm wondering if we have strong enough faith to believe that the Spirit will come and we will be clothed with power. I heard someone say on the radio the other day, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." And I've thought a lot about that phrase. And I think what the person was saying was, act as if everything depends on God, but work as if everything depends on you. And I think that's what we have to do too. So our evangelizing efforts, our efforts to spread the good news of Christ, be it to our own family members, be it to our neighbours, be it to people in the workplace, and however we do it, whether it be by example or by action or by direct word. This is really important, and it's what Jesus calls us to. So let's be big and brave and strong in the coming week, and know that at the end of the coming week we are going to have Pentecost, where the Spirit who brings us all those gifts of joy and peace and patience and kindness, all those gifts are going to come to us, and we just have to wait and trust God.